G-Show land, and welcome to another episode of the G-Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Woo! We took a little hiatus for a week. We were gone, and now we're back. A little vacation. There was a convention in town I went to. I scored some pretty cool Godzilla swag. I can't lie. I got 2 minifigures to add to my minifigure collection. I got a little Gigan and a little Anguirus, and I freaking love these little guys. Also got a couple of posters. And yeah, I was very excited and happy with my purchases at this convention. So that was last week, and that's why we really didn't get a podcast on. And that's not really true. Let me be real with all y'all. We actually did do a podcast last week. The problem was, though, on my end, my sound when I went to upload the podcast, the sound on my end, it came in all messed up. So sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the real reason why there was no podcast last week. But we're back! We're back, and hopefully this is going to work. I'm hoping as of right now, as I'm listening to this over again before I upload it, we're golden and good to go. That all being said and out of the way, let me introduce you to my cohorts here on the Godzilla Block Party. As always, my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G-Show, my brother Chase, a.k.a. Megsy, G73. What's up?
Oh, man, it's been quite the week. I literally feel like one of my heads is regenerating.
Oh, my God. Oh, we're going to call you Kevin from here on out. No! The person we should call Kevin is sitting over here. Well, not in my room, but on the FaceTime. That's Gam Z1. Andrew, what's up, my brother?
Oh, not a heck of a whole lot, man. I just got done watching King of the Monsters for probably my personal 4th time about 2 days ago.
There you go. Look at that.
Still a great movie.
3, 4, 5 times. We're all in when it comes to King of the Monsters. And that being said, let's get right into it. Speaking of all in, it seems like King of the Monsters has some legs at the box office. I mean, it's still kind of moving as slow as Shin Godzilla, but it's moving nonetheless. The needle is cranking.
You worked on that one all day, didn't you?
I swear to God, I swear on everything I love. On everything I love.
The podcast.
That was straight up improv right here, right now. I swear on everything I love. That one just flowed, bro. That one was easy. The door was open. I just walked through. Yeah, I mean, so this. I don't know the exact numbers of where it sits right now, but I know that, it's creeping along. There was one more market to open up and I think that was Spain. Am I correct there, G73?
Yeah, that was actually, I think, Monday.
Okay, so it opened up in Spain on Monday. All right, so it's out there now. It's in every market available, and we're moving along. I want to know this. Where do you see this movie ending up? At the end of it all, Chase, where do you see this movie ending its financial theatrical run? Are we going to break even? Are we going to go a little bit over? Or are we going to come in a little bit under?
We're going to be a little bit under. I don't think it's going to, because it's already, the actual box office grand total today is about... it's like 390 million something, and I honestly think that with Spain and everything else being added into it, we'll probably make maybe another 100 million for it. We'll probably get almost to 500 million, I think. If not that, maybe at least 450. I know. It just depends how well Spain does, because we don't know how well Spain is doing right now.
Right.
But the thing is okay. So 3 days ago, it was at 341 million, almost 342 million. Today in Box Office Mojo, it is at. And see, the thing is I don't know if Box Office Mojo will update it. The last it was updated was yesterday. So as of yesterday, domestically, it stood at 97 million, almost 98 million. Worldwide, as of yesterday, was that doesn't seem right. It was 345 million. And that doesn't seem right because I'm pretty sure I saw it was like at almost 400 million. Right. And so Box Office Mojo, you've done us dirty the past couple of times anyways. But anyways, I guess back onto the main topic. I honestly believe it will probably range at least 500 million. If that's the grand total it comes in. But the thing is, it just depends how long the foreign markets keep it afloat. I mean, domestically, it's slowly inching along. As you know, it's going to pass the 100 million mark this weekend, or even possibly by tomorrow. So it's going to fall flat, 170 domestically, or it's going to fall flat, probably 70 million domestically. But the thing is its presence overseas it's exactly how Pacific Rim ended out. And Pacific Rim did fairly well overseas. So I see it 500 million might be the grand. If it's not 500 million, maybe a little bit more. But if it's less, then it can't be less than 460, I think.
Those are not bad numbers. If that's the case, then I think it does make its money back and some, which is a good thing. Not what we were hoping for, honestly. Let's be for real here. But we're just fanboys. We wanted the number one box office spot. Yeah. Give us the Avatar and Avengers numbers. that was where we were at. Gams.
The thing is, though, is that Warner Brothers will have to take into account what movies were their most successful throughout the year. And if Godzilla becomes one of those top 5 films, they're going to take that in viability, which obviously they are with Godzilla vs. Kong. But I guess we'll get into that. But as of right now, that's box office is kind of running funny, but it's not the movie flop as the media would want you to think. It's just, I hate to say it, maybe above average, mediocre box office.
Yeah, and I agree with that. You hit it right in the head. It's not a flop. It's actually in line with what everything is doing right now. It's mediocre, maybe above average. To us, we love it, but when it comes in terms of like the money it's making and just the box office, the movies that have been coming out, and I think this all changes tomorrow when Toy Story comes out. That's gonna make money, That's definitely gonna hit. And then next week they're re-releasing the Avengers, okay? And then the week after that it's Spider-Man. So yeah, I think right now the box office is gonna shoot up, which means movies like Godzilla, X-Men Goodbye, they're gonna start to peter out a bit. But I absolutely agree with you. Mediocre, maybe above average, but it's not a flop, generally speaking.
Yeah. And that's usually always the case with what, media critics want you to think. They want you to think everything's all gloom and doom. But at the end of the day, they aren't tied into business. They're tied into just spread drama.
Right.
Gams. But, I don't know, man. I think Godzilla is going to be its unique thing. I think I give it at least another week. It's going to slowly graduate because it's still making an average of $1 million or more a day.
Yeah, that's why I want to go. I want to ask Gam a question. You said you had just seen it this week again.
Mm-hmm.
How was that theater?
It's a pretty standard AMC theater.
No, I meant like how was the crowd in the theater?
Oh, the crowd. It was pretty. It wasn't like too packed, but it was still decently, like maybe a quarter of the theater was filled.
Okay.
And I had a conversation with one of the managers at that theater, and he said that it's actually still performing quite well at the one here in Butte, Montana, and that it would probably at the very least see this weekend be its last weekend, if not next weekend.
Yeah, I can see that. Right now, here comes the onslaught of movies. If Avengers wasn't opening or re-releasing next weekend, I'm not going to see Avengers again. Honestly, I could just wait for the Blu-ray to come out. But if it wasn't coming out again, re-releasing next weekend, I don't know if there's anything in its way. I don't think there's anything over there next weekend. I think this weekend with Child's Play and Toy Story, that was it. And then the next big movie was Spider-Man's. But yeah, I could see it petering out, like Chase said, like you said now, like this week or next week, definitely. And for me personally, that just means it's coming to home video sooner than later, and I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that.
It's funny you mention that.
I'm pretty sure it's either going to come either in August or September.
Well, you can already pre-order it.
Oh, really?
Really? It's already up for pre-order?
Yeah, King of the Monsters is already up for pre-order.
What's the price on that?
It's up for steelbooks and everything, and UK has some stuff going on right now. You can pre-order it. I'm thinking September.
It looks like I'm going to have to track down a special, the most deluxe version of it possible.
Yeah, that's why I wait. I wait because I want to get the best version possible. I want to get the most for my money, so I'm not just going to pre-order just because it's a steelbook, because I got a steelbook a couple of months ago, and it was just a steelbook. There was nothing to it. There was nothing like good bonus features. But yet, if I bought the Target exclusive, it would have had like tons of bonus footage and an art book attached to it.
That's the thing. Target always has like extra bonus features and stuff, so I'm probably gonna have to go down there when it comes out on Blu-ray.
You also got to be careful with that, though.
I've been buying like my movies at Target, like the Meg, the Predator, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, just because they have extra exclusive footage and art books and stuff. And yeah, art books are kind of anal, but
I recall that the Target exclusive for Godzilla 2014 had an extra thing.
It had nothing.
Yeah, it did. It had the dragon.
Yeah, the
Operation Dragon, Lucky Dragon.
Yeah, it's still no deleted scenes, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. It does, because I was like, wait, it doesn't have none. I bought mine at Target, but yeah. So I'm not worried about, because here's the thing. This is what I did. When 2014 came out, as soon as it was available on VOD, I bought it, because I was like, I'm not waiting until it comes out on later on physical media. I'm just gonna buy it digitally. I did. I'm gonna do the same thing with King of the Monsters, and then wait, like Chase, like Andrew, and wait to see what the best version, like the collector's edition and stuff, because you got to think there got to be some real cool stuff coming with this thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of, regardless of special features, but like just packaging. And I love steelbooks, I really do, but the art book thing, for instance, that's cool, but we got an Art of Godzilla book, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, do they do that again? Like, what are they gonna do? I don't know.
See, what I'm wondering is if they're gonna do another thing like with 2014, if they're going to have like a special version for the Japanese Blu-ray that may come with an exclusive Monster Arts figure.
All I know is Mike Doherty said that there's going to be at least 6 to 8 scenes that are deleted added to it. So,
they should re-release it like they're doing Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, Avengers is the only movie coming out that's DLC.
Yes, sir. That was good. Spot on, brother.
Great.
That was spot on.
God.
Oh, podcast over. We're going home. I'm done.
But imagine if they did that with Godzilla, it just would probably lose money.
Yeah, right.
Please swipe your credit card for 30 more cents to see the deleted scene.
Oh,
yeah, unless the critics like went and resaw it and did more reviews, and the critics came around and was like, "No, wait, Godzilla's actually really great," and then it just ends up making more than its box office.
Oh, you know what's funny? So I've been watching a couple of different reviewers. I haven't gone through the entire spectrum. I haven't looked at certain people that I used to like, but I've been just like following certain things, and honestly though, across the board they've said the same thing. It's exactly what it was supposed to be. Yeah, there's certain things wrong with it, but they never set out to be an Academy Award winning movie. It always set out to be one thing, and they said, and you get the monster action now. I get it, and I see it with the fandom. Some of the complaints about the camera moving too fast or things like that. Maybe 3 times in that movie, I caught myself thinking that. One was in the beginning. I was like, damn, that camera's moving fast. I got to squint my eyes real quick before I catch a seizure. But, for the most part, they don't talk down on the movie. They're like, people just ain't going to the movies. One of the things I want to throw this out there, too, because it is coming out again next week. And this was something I was thinking about, and then it was funny because the same day I was thinking about it, somebody that I was watching echoed my sentiments, and it was like, is it because of Endgame being this gigantic? It's not even a summer blockbuster. It is an event film, and I mean, it made so much money. It's like, do you think people might have been, I don't know, drained from going to the movies? Because after that, look, Aladdin has legs, and I knew this was going to happen. Aladdin has legs because, again, it's a lot. The demographic going to see Aladdin is a lot of ladies who, like, in their 30s, who have children who grew up with Aladdin, and now they're taking their kids to see Aladdin, and they might like it, and they go it again and again. But that's like the only movie, and I'm going to take John Wick out of that equation, but that's like the only movie that's continuously performing, and I'm pretty sure now it's dropped off. It's dropping off, I would say. But in its second week, Godzilla beat it. In its third week, it was back, where it needed to be. In its fourth week, it was up there again, beating out the likes of X-Men and Secret Life of Pets 2. It's crazy, right? But the event, it still did, but Aladdin still didn't, I don't think, to me, hit that spot. It didn't make as much noise as I thought it was going to make, right? So my question is, do you think that's because of like this event film, such as Avengers, whereas Godzilla is not more of an event film, it is a summer blockbuster popcorn film, which should have been in November, where it would have made a ton of money. Listen to me, Legendary. Do you think it was maybe because of Avengers and this big event film that everybody went to see more than a couple of times? Because there's no way that movie makes that much money here in the States if people don't keep going to see it. It's not like one week we get to go, the next week the next row gets to go, the following week the next row. No, everybody was going to see this. Tickets were sold out for the whole entire weekend. You were scrounging for tickets. It's crazy. Do you think that might be blockbuster fatigue, and that's why the general populace was like, let's settle it down? Or do you think that outside of the fandom, Godzilla just isn't that good of a movie? And I'm not saying that that's what it is. I'm just asking hypothetical. Gam, I'll start with you.
It sounds like it's kind of a little bit of both. Definitely Endgame made a lot of people probably fatigued from seeing movies because again, that's such a big movie. Everybody was seeing it multiple times. People were just spending money after money on that movie, and it's just how it is, And when Godzilla came out, yeah, it did pretty well during its opening weekend. I mean, not fantastically, but pretty well. And I think it was just mostly like the general public. Like I said before in the previous podcast, I talked to a lot of people, and they were just like, I'll just wait till that comes out on Blu-ray and get it from the Red Box or something.
Don't get it from the Red Box. Go to Best Buy and buy it. Support the damn thing. I digress.
No.
Chase, what about you? Do you think that has any merit?
If the only thing Endgame did, it was basically that Endgame was more important than anything. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Endgame had anything to do over its influence, because the thing is, if Endgame was the influence over the movies that came out, John Wick wouldn't have performed where it did. And Godzilla, Endgame still would have been up in the box office throughout till then. I don't think Endgame really had much of a sway on it. If anything, I still firmly believe it was the placement of the movie. It's a very strange thing. I think that it's hard to place, because it's like, well, then how come John Wick? Well, the thing is John Wick was a small budget film, and it made its budget opening day. So
yeah,
that's the only difference. if John Wick made 40 million opening day, that's already almost its budget back, where it made 57 million, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I just think that the placement of these movies, you know, even coming out of that, you know, Avengers Endgame coming out in the end of April, you still have at least about 3 weeks or so of Endgame doing well, especially because it's Marvel. But at that point, once Aladdin hit, even Aladdin, I mean, Aladdin did make decent money its opening, but even then, Endgame was falling off of the charts. Then it was just gradually making chunks as it was going. That's where I come in and say that I literally think it was the placement of these movies, because I think that as of when Toy Story hits this week, it's going to make a lot of money, and now you're getting into where everybody is out of school. And, you know, most of the things start happening. People are more free. Box office is more leeway. And
that's a genius point right there. The kids out of school. That is one thing I did not take into consideration, because working at a school and where I live, my season, my job, the school year was over a week before King of the Monsters came out. And that's not true for the rest of the United States. That is a great point, Chase. That is a great point.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know. I mean, Endgame, it's really weird, because if I want to go that route and say, yeah, like, looking at it, I mean, Endgame, I just feel like if Endgame was the main reason why these movies did poorly, it's almost like you need to sue the MCU, because they literally just robbed everybody. But, you know, the thing is I don't want to think that movie had that big. It's not that I don't want to think. It just doesn't seem like a movie would have that type of power over others, you know? But like I said, I feel like if that was the case, Endgame would be the top box up until now. And it wasn't. It wasn't even the top, like even in the top 4, top 5. So I don't know. This summer, I mean, and just look at it. It's been every movie so far, except Aladdin so far, that have been considerably bad box offices. Yeah, and an exception of John Wick, of course.
Right.
But, like, you know, X-Men Dark Phoenix did bad. Secret Life of Pets, one of my most anticipated films of this year, did poorly.
Did real poorly. Wow.
Oh, dude, I love the first Secret Life of Pets, and this one looked really funny too. But and then Men in Black, that did horrible too. Which, I mean,
oh yeah, I forgot all about that one. I didn't even know what that did this weekend.
Yeah, no, Men in Black came out last weekend.
Oh yeah, last week. That's what I meant. Like this past weekend.
But and then that movie with Adam Driver and Bill Murray, the Dead Don't Die or something like that. That movie did horrible as well.
Yeah, but that's the type of movie though. That's the type of movie that's not even supposed to do good. Again, it goes back to like the Ma situation. They put out these smaller budget movies and they recoup their money back like that. It's not gonna make gangbusters like the blockbusters they did, that like the tentpole movies. These aren't tentpole movies. These are just like straight independent movies. We put it out there for artistic nature, which is what movies should be. That's what they were initially. And then Star Wars happened, and then the blockbuster. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that was Jaws then.
Jaws 2, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying.
I love some Jaws, but you know what I mean. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's just weird because you would think that it wouldn't be a straight trek of movies being box office bombs. I mean, this is it. To me, it's almost awkward that every movie that's come out now in a line, it's like a ducks lined up in a row, has been like batting at the box office hit. And it's just, it hasn't done, it's just like weird why these movies aren't overperforming as they should, you know? And a lot of people say it's just maybe it's the change of times. Not a people have that exposable income anymore. I think that's a load of minor possibility, because still you can, you know, if you really want to see a movie, you will go out and see it. But who knows? But I just think it's weird that, how many movies, about 5 or 6 movies that have come out have all been box office bombs in a row.
Yeah.
That's just weird. That is way weird to me. And, I at least thought Men in Black would have made some money. I would have thought that Secret Life of Pets out of any of those would have made money because that's a kids movie.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But here's the thing. What if they're waiting for Toy Story this week?
So Toy Story's the end game of the... It could be. Yeah. Toy Story could be the end game of the kids' movies. But man, I think once Toy Story comes out, and I know when Spider-Man comes out, those movies are just going to rack up cash.
Yeah, I think so. All right,
but it's just weird, though. It's really weird because, these movies shouldn't have. I don't think any of the movies that came out recently should have been box office bombs.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think any of these movies should have underperformed. But that being said, let's get off of that topic and jump into our next topic before we get into our main topic. Next topic. This news broke last week, and like I said at the top of the show, we did do a podcast about this. And unfortunately, I had technical issues on my side. But the news broke that, and again, I don't know if it was because of Godzilla's underperformance, but news broke that Godzilla vs. Kong was going to be pushed back. To when? We didn't know. It was up in the air. We, during that podcast, was speculating, what are they going to do? Are they going to do reshoots? Are they going to, what are they doing? Are they going to just push it back and wait for a moment in time or in the year where it's not going to be oversaturated with a bunch of blockbuster movies that's going to take away for it? Something we were screaming about with King of the Monsters should have been in November. We didn't know what was going on. And that was the gist of the last podcast.
But it turns out it was all a lie.
Right. Fast forward to this week, and hopefully this is going up. I hope y'all get to hear this, because if not, computer, you're going out the window. Fast forward to this weekend, apparently, what was it, a CinemaCon in the UK, I think?
Cine Europe.
Cine Europe Warner Brothers was showcasing their upcoming line of movies, and one of them just so happened to be Godzilla vs. Kong, where they apparently showcased some footage that I don't think it's
funny because the only trailer to leak from that whole event was Monster Hunter World.
Hunter, yep. My brother loved that, by the way. He absolutely
Resident Evil with dragons. I dig it.
Hey, I'm down. But I don't even think that we got a synopsis of the footage shown. I didn't hear anything, so I don't know. Did you guys hear anything? Did they say anything?
No.
So everything was tight-lipped. It could be a lie.
Just the same stuff for King of the Monsters that the audience loved it.
Yeah, okay. See? Yes, I did see that. But then came the bombshell a week after it was said that it was going to get pushed back, that it was not being pushed back. In fact, it might move up a couple of days. What? No, I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I don't even... When Godzilla vs. Kong is supposed to come out, what, March 20th?
March 13th.
March 13th. Man, listen, you put that movie in the first week of March, unless there's a Marvel movie coming out in Valentine's Day. Then you stay away. You put it back March 13th. But, I mean, dudes, Chase, I'm going to start with you. What do you think of this? What do you think is going on in Legendary's mind?
One, so I went through many, many reactions to this. For one, I was like, well... It said internationally 2 days earlier. So that means Godzilla vs. Kong could still come out in the U.S. on the 13th, like it was planned. However, I think it's a cover-up for what the CEO said with it being delayed. I think they're going out and saying that... because it just, again, this is a thing where to me it's another awkward piece of information. It almost seems like damage control to me.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to happen. I think that the movie, they said that just to be like, no, we're still confident in Godzilla vs. Kong. And it's going to come out 2 days earlier internationally. And that's why I think it's a cover-up, because internationally is what he said. Not it's internationally, it's coming out 2 days earlier. So it still could come out on the 13th of March like planned. Because I don't know why it would come out 2 days earlier. That doesn't make sense to me, because the 13th is a Friday, and if it comes out 2 days earlier, that's a Wednesday.
Well, no, whoa. Godzilla 2014 came out on a Wednesday. If I'm not mistaken, that was on a Wednesday. Some movies do tend to come out on Wednesdays and Fridays. And if I'm not mistaken, G14 was a Wednesday. I like that idea. Wednesdays is fine. Because you get a long weekend.
I mean, to me, okay, that could be irrelevant for the moment, but I just think it's weird. I think it's a cover-up. I think that it's damage control. I still think, because here's the case too. If Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out that much earlier, then we definitely need to see something of it now. And I don't think that's possible because, I mean, we don't know what footage was shown for the Cine Europe. And the fact that there was footage shown kind of worries me, because unless they were working on visual effects while this movie was in production already, which it is possible, they could have been like, we're going to do our Godzilla versus Kong scenes already with this stuff in mind, and then we're going to have it filmed around those. That is possible. Kind of unorthodox, but it is possible.
Yeah.
The movie just finished filming in like March, April. I do not think you have visual effects, especially CGI or anything, to show with the monsters for this movie as of this early. To me, that's that's not good news. And I mean, I'm probably going to be I'm probably going to be the devil's advocate for this.
Yeah.
None of this been talking about is bad news. I mean, none of this is good news. I mean, yeah, okay, it is good news that it was shown at Cine Europe and the audience loved it, but okay, that's a private event. Did they really love it, or did whoever just reporting on it said they did? Or, you know, nothing is like legitimate at this point.
Damn.
And the fact is that if the movie does come out globally on the 11th of March, then that would mean you would have to show something soon of the movie to the public. And also that would mean you'd have definitely a trailer in November. And to me, that's like, this is not good. This is a rushed movie. And if this is the case, then Godzilla vs. Kong, unless Warner Brothers is so confident in this movie is going to make the money they want back, and they know that, oh, this movie's going to have enough care, it's going to be great, and they're 100% confident in it, then go for it. But I'm telling you, this is not good news. This is not good at all. I do not like that the movie's coming out 2 days earlier. I think it's horrible. It's a bad decision, and I hope it's I hope it is a cover up. I hope it is damage control. I hope the movie ends up being pushed back to a September, October, November release. I think they need to really think about this because to me it sounds like this movie is becoming very rushed. And just because audience liked what they were shown, like a 5-minute clip, they could have shown a 5-minute clip of Godzilla just shooting his atomic breath at something, and the audience could have loved it. Doesn't mean the rest of the movie's like that. I don't think this is necessarily good news. I want to be positive and optimistic, but the thing is that this is not enough time for a movie to perform well, in my opinion. You can't give us a movie this short in advance that's going to look or come. I mean, unless you just have a lot of geniuses that are full of smarts on this movie, and Adam Wingard is going to be the movie making god, then I just don't know how this is going to turn out, and I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Godzilla vs. Kong, and I hate saying that because I was the one that advocated for more of these movies. I mean, we all know that. I want more of these movies. I still do want more of these movies, and I want Godzilla vs. Kong to be successful, but at this train wreck starting to derail, it's This is not good. Not good.
Gams. He stole my thunder. He all of a sudden became the devil's advocate. Well, that's my job. But I digress. He can have it. You can have it. Gams, I want to know your thoughts on all of this, and if you have anything to say with Chase's diatribe just now.
Yeah, I got a bit to say. I mean, it being may or may not being released 2 days early. It's not being. All that just tells me is that, like I said, it was all a lie. It's not being pushed back at all. And it could sound like a bad thing with the gap between finished filming and all the time for the post production. But you gotta kind of think, well, why the fuck did it take this movie, King of the Monsters, a year and a half to do the CGI that it was in the movie? That doesn't look like a year and a half worth of work. That looks like 6 months worth of work, where they just sat on the movie for 6 more months, which is exactly what they did. CGI is not that time consuming. Yeah, it takes a bit, but it's not like it doesn't take a year and a half to make that kind of CGI. It really doesn't.
I don't know, man. You're animating not one, but 3, 4 iconic Toho characters. And then add like Behemoth and stuff like that. Scylla. Oh, Jesus.
Literally, most of those were cameos, including Mothra. All right. Let's be honest. Most of the rendering time went to Godzilla and Ghidorah.
Okay, but I mean, like, come on. You gotta be fair.
I'm being completely fair to Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm being completely fair to Godzilla vs. Kong because literally, for a good chunk of both King of the Monster and Godzilla vs. Kong's production time, they were in production at the same time. And it's basically to me, it's like, since they were almost in production at the exact same time, it's just taking a lot longer because of the scheduling for Godzilla versus Kong. And it seems at surface level that this is going to be a rush job, but in reality, it's probably not.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think the same way you're thinking. They probably got a lot of previs out of the way during the filming of King of the Monsters. They probably did a lot of work on the previs already. They knew what they wanted. They had the fight set up. You had Adam Wingard. They were probably already in his ear. You had Mike Doherty writing the script. He probably already knew ahead of time as they were, in post-production, King of the Monsters. All right, this is what I want to see here, there, and there. And then all you got to do is get the script together for the actors. I'm pretty sure the actors already had the script. And they were like, okay. Because at the end of the day, it's not like, hey, this person's in this movie and they just got the script. No, they had the script. They've been rehearsing, and now we're telling you who's in the movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like bam, 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 bam. They're already in. They signed. We're good. Unless it comes to things down to like, Robert Pattinson as Batman. That's different. It's casting call. That's a bigger movie. But yeah, I totally agree. I think that they were in there already.
If this truly was a rush job, and they do eventually like go, oh shit, maybe we should push it back, and they do push it back. But then it turns out, oh, actually, the by the time it was supposed to come out in March, oh, that's a wrap. We're all done, and then we just spend another 6 months sitting on the film. Then I'm gonna be mad again because that's the same thing that happened with King of the Monsters. They finished filming in November, and then they just sat there until it came out May 31st.
But are you saying that what happened with King of the Monsters ended up being a bad thing?
Yeah, because we didn't make any money.
Yeah.
But do you think the production on that being delayed or set on was what caused that? Because I disagree. I don't think that had any influence on it.
Like literally, they sat on the movie so it could be a summer blockbuster, and then all the competition came in, and it's like, yeah, every movie has been kind of
but I'm talking about the quality of a movie standpoint.
So wait, is the quality of the movie the reason why it didn't do good?
No, the reason why it didn't do good is because they sat on the movie until it was a summer blockbuster. The movie was done. It should have been released when it was done.
Okay, but you're talking about that Godzilla versus Kong isn't even getting a year's worth of production.
But if you look at it from when the time it started production, which was at around the same time that King of the Monsters started production, it ended. King of the Monsters ended its production right when Godzilla versus Kong started doing everything like that. It went into post-production.
So all right, so wait. So let me intervene here. So King of the Monsters went into post-production, right? And then the Godzilla vs. Kong, it's plausible to say that when it went into pre-production, they could start pre-vising, doing all the layouts of the fight scenes, getting the staging down, the set pieces that they're gonna need, where they want the actors. And again, whether or not they had the actors or the cameras rolling, all the previs shit is all through the computer anyway. So I mean, they could have had Godzilla and Kong fighting. Or maybe even some other kaiju that we got to see at the end of King of the Monsters.
Of course, you always have, test footages and stuff like that ready to go for these things to see how they work out. And who knows how it played out. But the thing is that Godzilla vs. Kong, filming-wise, didn't even start till about January. They didn't start filming scenes till about, January. And then they went to Hawaii for a bit. Then they went to Australia, and then they cut it quits. And then it stopped filming in beginning of April. And to me, with it coming out in March, that's not even. That's just a little bit under a year, over a year for all of it. And to me, it just seems like it's too rushed. It doesn't seem like... I mean, and I get, there's the possibility of maybe that's not that much of an issue. But the thing is that the one thing I will say is that whatever that CEO said, when he said about Godzilla versus Kong being delayed, he said, we're going to take as much time on it as possible to deliver an AA grade movie for the fans. Is he totally going back on that now?
Who knows? All I'm saying is, the filming of the sequences with the people, with the actors, the human actors, has nothing to do with what they can do on a computer. Nothing. So they could have been doing.
And that's
they could have done 5 months on the computer already.
Now, how does that mean those scenes for Godzilla versus Kong done by the actors were 100% perfect?
No, but
they haven't even said anything about reshoots yet.
Okay, but you don't
all movies eventually have some sort of reshoot here and there.
That's if the story's not working. That's when the execs, the upper brass, see something in the dailies and is like, that's not working. We need to go back and fix this.
Okay, so what you're saying is Adam Wingard is a movie making god and everything should be okay.
I didn't say that at all. Those words never came out of my mouth. And to be honest with you, I've never seen an Adam Wingard movie. I've said that before.
You never saw the Blair Witch Project?
I haven't. I've seen about 5 minutes of that, and then we shut it off because we had something to do. I've never seen it. What I'm saying...
Death Note on Netflix?
I don't even like Death Note the anime, so no, I didn't watch that either.
Okay. Well, I was wondering...
I'm saying that what they film with the actors, and even if they did reshoots, a movie like this is not going to garner that type of attention. Star Wars absolutely is going to garner attention, right? Suicide Squad or Justice League definitely is going to garner that attention. Godzilla vs. Kong won't garner any attention, and if they're going to reshoot the movie because of the box office performance of King of the Monsters, that's different. What I believe Andrew's saying, and what I believe myself, is that before they even started shooting with the actors, they've already had stuff down. They know what Kong looks like already. They know what Godzilla looks like.
They were writing up their storyboards.
Okay, and the storyboards could easily but it could easily be translated into cinematic footage when it comes to the fight scenes, because again, it's all about previs. So if Adam Wingard, and again, the dude, I don't know. I can't hold him to anything other than what people tell me, because I've never seen his work. I've seen Krampus. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I dug Krampus. I've never seen the Trick or Treat movie, but I've seen Krampus and I like this. So I was like, yeah, I dig Michael Dougherty. And then seeing him on Twitter, and just his overall enthusiasm for the source material, I was like, this is in good hands. And for me, after seeing the movie, I still believe that. It was in good hands. What I'm saying, though, is I don't think the movie is rushed. they started, you said, filming in July and ended in April. That's a solid 4 months.
No. They started filming
January.
like in October.
Oh, in October. Then that's even crazy.
No. They started filming like with the actors in January.
January. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So January to April, that's 4 months of shooting. That's about right. That's about right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't Lord of the Rings. That's about right. If anything, that seems a little more than right. So maybe they got the reshoots in already if they needed it.
And that's possible, but when I hear someone say they want to take their time and make an AA grade film, they don't say that it comes out 2 days earlier than its production, and then also say that it might get pushed back and then go back on their work.
And I absolutely agree with you there with the damage control, because if that's the case, he should have said that before King of the Monsters came out, not after it came out and it was underperforming.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that. I 100% agree with them trying to do damage control, but any which way you try to, any which way they try to flip it, I should say.
And look, I'm not saying that Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be horrible. I'm not. But I'm just saying that if with Godzilla King of the Monsters getting a pass for its box office being not the great thing that they want, I would take as much time on Godzilla vs. Kong as I can, regardless how long it takes. Now, I'm not talking like 2 years, but I'm thinking that like at least a couple of more months or something. But the thing is like I said, if Legendary is 100% confident like they were in Godzilla vs. Godzilla King of the Monsters, but the thing is it's hard to talk about that because King of the Monsters wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't placed in the spot that it should have been placed.
I agree.
If Godzilla vs. Kong is as good as they claim King of the Monsters to be, then we shouldn't have anything to worry about. Unless nobody cares because of King of the Monsters and because nobody just cares.
And that's the harsh reality I think is going to come to pass. I think the only people that are going to care are us fans. But, it's what it is. It's a waiting game. The same thing with King of the Monsters. There was no doubt in my mind King of the Monsters was going to perform well. I was scared. I did say Aladdin was going to beat it out. And it did, and I was happy. But it did come in second place. You know what I'm saying? And by $5 million. And that's like, it should have been $50 million Godzilla was ahead. But I digress again. So anyway, Andrew, any rebuttals on that?
Like I said, it's you can have the nihilistic look and see it as a rush job, but we'll see what happens.
I don't see it as nihilistic though. I'm seeing as the thing is the MonsterVerse is in a deep hole as it is right now. So I think it needs as much time as possible. And it just sounds like a lot of it is damage control and a lot of it is rushed.
Maybe they did plan on pushing it back, and maybe the executives were like, "No, you already pushed back King of the Monsters, and we did, and that didn't make any money, so you're not pushing this one back."
And that could be too, but I also think what they planned was King of the Monsters was going to be such a big movie that they thought it was going to be. They decided to do the Marvel thing, and which is where they'll have another movie a couple months later to add hype. I think that's what they wanted to do, and it just didn't fall where they wanted it.
Quick question before I end this discussion. Quick question. If they were going to push it back and they decided to push it in the summer, is that good news or absolutely terrible news? Gams.
I mean, it depends on what's supposed to come out in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's well, it depends how well does the new Fast and the Furious movie holds up, because that was the main thing why it got pushed from the May release, because of Fast and Furious 9. And so if Fast and the Furious 9 makes its buco bucks like they usually do, then
say June or July of next year, what MCU movie is supposed to come out?
We don't know yet. Phase 4 is going to be announced in a couple of weeks at Comic-Con.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
So I mean, if there wasn't going to be any MCU competition, that next summer.
There wasn't no MCU competition this summer with Godzilla King of the Monsters. There was nothing there but Aladdin and Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
All right, let's.
I mean, I'm just saying. When I went to the theater, Endgame was still in theaters. So.
Oh yeah, it was too when I went, and it's still in theaters, which is kind of crazy because you can still go see it right now. And then next week
it's not even leaving; it's even coming back with more footage.
It's even coming back. All right, jumping off this topic, we spent way more time on these topics than I thought we would. Honestly, I told these two at the top of the show before we even started. I said we're going to spend about 20 minutes on both topics.
What'd you expect, man? You have two passionate dudes here.
I know, and we had 2 weeks worth of podcasting to do. So, that being said, this might go a little overboard, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to keep y'all longer than a little overboard. We won't do a 12 podcast, I promise. But I want to get into this because I want to know these guys' things, and it's something on my mind, and I don't want to wait till next week to discuss it. Let me ask y'all a question. Godzilla King of the Monsters. Where do you guys rank this movie in the pantheon of Godzilla movies? So, Gam Gams, I'm going to start with you.
Number 6.
Number 6? This didn't even fucking what? You didn't even think about it. You took a preference at 6. I call shenanigans.
I already placed it about a week ago. I even made a post about it on Facebook.
Okay, number 6. Number 6, and don't count Shin Godzilla. Number 6. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm counting Shin Godzilla. Number 1 is the original Gojira.
Okay.
2 is Shin Godzilla. Number 3 is Godzilla 84.
Oh, that should be the other way around.
4 is Biollante.
Oh.
Number 5 is GMK.
Oh.
And number 6 is King of the Monsters.
That's not a bad list, except for that one. That's actually, you know what? That's good company. That's good company. It's not my favorite company, but it's good company. I wouldn't be opposed to having a movie night with that in that order. Again, the exception
with extra beer for Shin Godzilla.
Dude, you know it, bro. Extra beer. I'm going to the bathroom during that turn.
To that when we get to that, you two.
I'm going to the bathroom for that turn, Chase. We're gonna barbecue. Hey, I gotta go grill. You guys watch that. I'll be outside cooking it up.
No, I'll go help you barbecue.
No food for you, Gabe.
Andrew, do you want onions on your burger? I'll go tell Ray.
I'll take extra lettuce, thank you.
I'll tell you right now, it'd be funny if we ever did something crazy like that, like we did a breakdown and we watching this movie. Yo, Andrew, you and Matt would be just glued to the damn screen while me and Chase be like, nah, I ain't watching this crap. No, thank you. And again,
we'll go play Gears of War or something.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll go do something else. But so Chase, let me ask you, where does this movie rank for you?
Well, Shin Godzilla is my number 1 in order. I'm just kidding. It's hard. It's because when I first saw it, I'm like, man, this may be my favorite Godzilla movie. It's hard to place it because I don't have it on Blu-ray yet.
Right.
And usually when I get movies on Blu-ray is when I can easily kind of place them where they rank, because then at that point I can watch it as many times as I want, back to back. Obviously I guess I could do it while it's in its box office run, but the thing is I'm not made of money like I wish I was.
Right.
But so I guess where it goes is my favorite Godzilla movie is Godzilla vs. Biollante. That's my 1. My second favorite, because my second favorite probably has to be, you know what? King of the Monsters is probably my second favorite, because 2000 is my second favorite was 2014 until King of the Monsters. So Biollante is my 1. King of the Monsters is 2. The 1963, 1964 Mothra versus Godzilla.
Nice.
Then
that particular movie was my number 6 before King of the Monsters took it. Now it's my number 7.
Well, if Shin Godzilla wasn't in the top 5, it would still be in the top 5 or 6.
My third is Godzilla 2000. I mean, my fourth is Godzilla 2000. And my fifth probably has to be probably the Tokyo SOS series. So my fifth and sixth are the Tokyo SOS movies, and then I guess if
you movies.
Yeah, I like those movies a lot. And then my seventh is GMK, and then my eighth is Godzilla 1984-85, Godzilla Reborn, and then ninth is probably the 1954 Gojira, and then 10th is probably Godzilla versus Invasion of Astro Monster.
Ooh, you are a brave man for putting the original so low on the top 10 list.
Down where it was, right? Oh my god!
You are a brave man.
But you know what? Because when he said that,
I think a lot of people put that as their favorite for a lot of reasons, and they're not too 100. I don't know. I guess I'm not mainstream in that case.
No, and that's where I wanted it, because I once you put what you said 7.
Yeah, it was 9.
9. Jeez, that's even worse. But once you said that, in my head I said, wait a minute, because that's my number one, and definitely Gam Gam's number one. He said it. And there's But does that make us snooty? Like, are we snooty Godzilla fans because the original is the best?
So I guess what I'm saying is I feel there are a lot of Godzilla fans that when they jump on the Godzilla train, they put the 54 version as their number one just to do it because everyone else does it. The reason why I didn't put 54 on my number one thing was because Godzilla versus Biollante was the absolute first Godzilla film I saw.
Okay.
Followed by the 1954 film. But I didn't watch the 1954 film because I was so young and I didn't like black and white movies. What?
I mean, if we were going by that logic, then 98 would be my number one.
I'll shoot you.
Then you can, if you want.
There's gun laws
in... What I'm saying is I'm going based on how I grew up. And but now as an adult, like the 1954 Gojira is as a person that appreciates cinematography, that's where it falls on my list. But to me, it's not my number one just because of just how I grew up, and just I prefer more of the Godzilla versus stories. So that's kind of where I stand.
No, I hear you on that. I can't lie. I mean, listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with both of y'all. I don't think King of the Monsters is in my top 5. It might be 9. It might be 10. I don't know. I know for a fact the original 54 is number 1. And like Chase said, and this is something that I cannot stress enough because I respect exactly what he said. I didn't see Godzilla 1954 first. That movie didn't come until, I don't know, years after I've been in love with Godzilla. And if I did see it, and I'm pretty sure I did as a kid, it wasn't because I didn't like black and white movies. It's because I didn't understand that my hero Godzilla is destroying everything, and then they killed him. What? Like, it made no sense to me as a child. But as I started getting older, in my teenage years, when I got the original Americanized Godzilla King of the Monsters with Raymond Burr, and I was like, damn, this is good. When I got the original Japanese version, oh my God, I was like, it blew my mind. It blew me away. That's why it's number 1. I'll be honest with you.
Same thing for me. When I got the Criterion on Blu-ray, and I watched it back to back, one by itself and then the other with the David Callett commentary, my eyes were open about the film.
Yeah, it's an amazing film, man.
It's just an amazing art house masterpiece to me.
I love that movie. I love it. I'm telling you, I put that movie on all the time when I am absolutely just stuck and not doing anything, and I don't want to do nothing. I don't know what to do in this, and just like my mind is like in a million different places. I put on the original Gojira. I put it on, and and I'm like, okay, I'm centered. I'm back, and let's get on with the day or go to bed because usually that happens. It tends to happen late at night. But
so another funny reason why it's not like on the top of my list too is because that movie genuinely scared me as a kid, and it also depressed me as a kid, and even as an adult, that movie is very depressing. And so
It's
I gravitate more towards the fun kind of. I'm not saying King of the Gojira is not fun, but I'm the more fun in tone type films is kind of what I go for. So that's why I love Godzilla 2000. That's why I like the Tokyo SOS series. Yeah. That's why I like GMK a lot. That's why Godzilla vs. Biollante is fun to me, because it's just, to me, in those tones of movies, they're just fun.
There's nothing fun about Godzilla vs. Biollante. The girl dies in the beginning of the movie.
BioWars? Remember when that song comes on? Everyone's dancing.
That is dope.
Is a pop.
That is dope. I can't lie. That is dope. That's that
opening scene where it's Godzilla 1984, and they're destroying the city, and the news reporter, she's talking about it, and then the soldiers and the scientists fight and all of that. I love
it. When they run and they're, hey guys, look here! Yes, I love it.
Here's a close area.
It's so good. It's so good, man. Yeah, I can't lie. I love that shit.
Well, I mean, if we're Godzilla 2000, when you bring it up, it's a weird thing for me, because I see Godzilla 2000 two ways. Like, one version of Godzilla 2000 is definitely in my top 10. It might even be slightly better, or if not on par with Mothra vs. Godzilla and King of the Monsters. I flip-flop between those three, and that's the American cut, the dubbed version of Godzilla 2000. Oof. The original Japanese version is a snooze fest.
You're crazy. You crazy.
Have you watched the original Japanese version?
I only watched the original Japanese version.
What's different about it? It's
edited weird. The scene with Godzilla and those drill missiles. It's just cut very strangely. It's strangely silent. There's little to no music in the original Japanese version of 2000.
I like that.
It's a very weird movie.
I remember you talking about it years ago, saying the American cut was better than the Japanese cut.
It's so much better.
I never really understood why, but I was a kid when I saw that movie in theaters, so
same. Yeah, and the nostalgia is definitely a big part of why I prefer the American cut of 2000.
I was in my 20s when I saw that movie in theaters. That's
Lord, I'm in my 20s now.
Shut up! I'm not gonna rank the Godzilla movies right now, because that's something I definitely want to do. One podcast, I just want to sit down, get a bunch of us together, and just rank all of them. Right?
Yeah.
I will say this: the first Gojira movie, 54, that's my number one all time. I love that movie, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm gonna rank anything, it's gonna be the 1 and 2. I think my second favorite Godzilla movie is 1984-85. I just love continuation and that. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, because the Showa did continuation. They did up until a point.
I mean, the Showa era was the very first instance of a cinematic universe.
That's not true. That's not true. The Universal Monsters have the number one glory for that.
Okay.
They do. It's loose, but it's there. What I'm saying, though, is they kind of Godzilla gets buried in ice and raids again. Godzilla breaks out of an iceberg in King Kong vs. Godzilla. Godzilla and King Kong fight and fall off a cliff. Godzilla, there's an earthquake. Pay attention. There's an earthquake. And then Kong comes up and swims away. Godzilla pops out of the earth. And they say maybe it was because of the typhoon. I think he was just on the ground. You know what I'm saying? There's slim continuity. Whereas Godzilla 84 was this is a direct sequel to the original movie, and I fucking loved it. And not to mention that I just loved that movie. I love that movie. But this is about King of the Monsters, and where I put that. I put King of the Monsters, and this is hard, man, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really do like that movie, but I don't love it. I don't know. And I've been reading the novel, and it's just been kind of reassuring. I like this movie a lot. But I don't love it. I love G14. I love that movie because it completely tricked me. And I've said this a million times on these podcasts. I thought we were going to get Rampaging Godzilla, and I got Showa Superhero Godzilla. And I was like, what? And I wasn't ready, and it caught me off guard, and I fell in love. And I loved it, and I really do. And I ain't mad at the monster. The only thing that pisses me off is Bryan Cranston dying. He should have been there. And I'm pretty sure he would have came back and reprised his role and brought some gravitas alongside of Serizawa, Ken Watanabe. It just would have made sense. They didn't do that.
Imagine if Bryan Cranston lived and Serizawa and Bryan Cranston's character had to pull straws of who was going to nuke Godzilla.
Dude, how awesome would that... Honestly, because, yes, I mean, that's a podcast for another time. We can speculate on that. That is such a great idea, Chase. I love you. Mwah.
I mean, maybe my love for King of the Monsters may stem from like basically just kind of a release of pent up tension of constantly being dicked over by things like the anime trilogy.
Yeah, I can see that, and I ain't mad at you. I can totally see that. And by no means is that anime trilogy better than King of the Monsters.
Hell no.
I do like that first installment, but the other two is like, nah. But that's another podcast. I don't know if King of the Monsters is in my top 10. It might be, but I honestly don't know, because I'll be honest, I absolutely love the Heisei series. That's where I was coming of age as a teenager, all of a sudden finding out that what's going on? When I first saw Biollante, it was 89, it was 1990 when I first saw Biollante. It was 1990. Miramax put that shit out on home video. And I was like, what? And that automatically became like my favorite Godzilla movie, only because there was more Godzilla in a modern time. Freaked me out. It blew my freaking head off. But as years progressed and more movies came out and I got to see everything, I love the Heisei series. I love it. Again, continuity, right? There's some clunkers in there. Space Godzilla. But
King Ghidorah.
You're bugging. But I like... yeah, I don't know, because I would have like the Heisei series up in my top 10. Maybe one or two of them not there. Maybe just one not there. And then I love GMK. I absolutely love GMK. GMK is one of those movies that I love, then I hate it, then I really, really, really loved it again, and then I just can't stop loving it. Like, I love that movie, right? I don't know why I hated it to begin with, but I love it. And then, like, I really do like Godzilla 2000. I do. Now, is King of the Monsters above 2000? I don't know, but I think it's fair to say I might edge it out over Final Wars, which I love Final Wars. No, I got to rethink this. All I'm saying is, if it was a top 5, King of the Monsters ain't there. If it's a top 10, I got to give it some thought. I don't know where I'd put this, but it's not a bad movie. It's better than most of them. I think it's better than, and this is just my opinion. Let me rephrase this. I like it more than I like, let's say, Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, and I love that movie. I like it more than Megalon, and I love Megalon. That was the first Godzilla movie I ever owned on VHS. And Megalon's, it gets a bad rap. And these, I'm not talking about the movies I hate. I'm talking about the movies that I actually like, that I'm putting it over. I put it over Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. I do. I definitely, this is blasphemy, but I put it over Destroy All Monsters, but you did it too. These are the movies that I like. Does it go over something like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 93? I don't know. I love that movie. I love it. The score is fantastic. Rodan.
It was hard to think about that too, because I do like Mechagodzilla too. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, it was hard for me too to place that. But yeah, King of the Monsters,
No, I feel you. And that's the thing. It's like I watched Terror of Mechagodzilla last Friday when I came back from Con, and I was by myself, and I fell in love with that movie all over again. I love that movie to begin with. That was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw on home video. And I was like, what's going on? Podcast for another day. But I fell in love with that movie again. Is King of the Monsters better than Terror of Mechagodzilla? In my opinion, I don't think so. So it's weird. It's in this weird flux place, and I can't wait when we start doing these reviews again. And I'll put it like this. I'll say this. I'm going to put this out there right now in G-Show Land before we wrap up. We're going to do the review series, and at the end of the review series, we're going to rank. We're going to get a definitive rank, and we'll get we'll bring back a couple of old Fogarties that used to be on the podcast. We'll bring them all back. We'll see where it's at, and then at the end of our ranking system, we're going to compare where everybody ranked each thing, and then we're going to make a definitive list. This is something we used to do on the Geek Out when it came to the end of year movies. So I don't know. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, that sounds neat.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So yeah, we'll do that because right now I like King of the Monsters. I don't love it. I love G14. I know a lot of people don't. It is what it is. Top 5. I don't know, but it is what it is. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap this podcast up. I want to thank my cohorts for joining me today. Chase, thank you, my brother, for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And Gams, thank you for being here with us.
Oh, always a pleasure.
And I want to thank all of y'all out there in G-Show Land for listening to us ramble for about an hour and 11 minutes. That is my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm out of here. I am G1 and we gone. Peace.